Hello, butterflies. How are you all? Today I am here just waiting for my son to get out of school, and I figured I would follow up with you guys. I promised that I would share my life after ayahuasca. It's been 2 years now, and my 2-year anniversary was February 1st to be exact. That was my first ceremony. I went to Pucallpa, Peru, to the Amazons, and had 4 ayahuasca ceremonies. Now, disclosure, I am by no means a professional. I'm not a shaman, I'm not a guru, I'm not a teacher. I am just a simple person that suffered from severe chronic depression for years due to childhood sexual abuse. I feel more freely to open up to you guys now and speak about exactly what the root of everything has been in my life. But we can touch base on that in another video where I go into details. I do have a video where I kind of skim the surface a little bit, and feel free to watch it. I'll link it. So to let you know, ayahuasca is a psychedelic brew that consists of the ayahuasca vine and the chacruna leaf. It's a tea that you drink, and I don't consider it, a lot of people on this side of the world consider it a drug. I don't. I consider it plant medicine. I don't think that, for me, drug is something that causes harm to your body and has secondary effects. But ayahuasca is sacred, and I know that because I had 4 ceremonies, and it's not something you get addicted to. It's not something you play with. It's not something it's something you have to revere because it can literally bite you in the ass, and you don't want to mess with it. You want to go into these ceremonies as humble and open and receptive as possible. So how I got to Peru was because a friend of mine, I saw an amazing transformation in her being, suffering from depression and all that. And when she got back from Peru, I was intrigued, and I wanted to also figure out something, because it had been 20 plus years that I was living with severe depression and nothing can help me. I had tried doctors, I had tried medication, I had tried a bunch of other whatever methods are out there. I tried it, and I was at my wit's end. I was to the point of no avail. Like, I just could not. Existing was so painful, so freaking painful, that I was willing to try anything else. And so this was basically my last straw for me. I felt like if this didn't help, like, there was just no hope in life at all. So life after ayahuasca for me has been bittersweet. This is my personal experience. Everyone has a very deep personal experience of their own. So this is what I went through. When I was in Peru and I had my first ceremonies, well, right after all of my ceremonies, I would say, I think we had them like a day or two apart or something. I don't really remember. But after the ceremonies, you end up sensing, because when we would integrate with the group, because it was not just me, it was a group of another 10 people, I would say, that we became very close. That's my ayahuasca family, and I love them very much. They're from all over the world, all walks of life. Everybody has their own personal intention for being there, and So after the ceremonies, we all felt like a great sense of peace and bliss and love and unity, oneness. Being in the jungle was easy because I was surrounded by nature. I was eating vegan food. Everybody was on this like high vibe life, and it was awesome being there. The hard part for me was coming back to New Jersey and integrating with my family, my friends, my peers. That was by far the hardest part for me. It was very, very difficult, I want to say. I went through a really rough patch, for the first, I want to say maybe first year. I felt completely lost. I felt it was hard coming back to the reality that everybody is kind of stuck in the hamster wheel, and nobody really understood me anymore, because I was definitely transformed from the inside out, and I came back like reborn, like a whole nother me, and it was difficult to confront everything that I had left behind. At that point, I already knew that my relationship was over, but I held on because I just wanted to give it a try. I wanted to see if there was any hope at all, but deep down inside, I already knew it was done for. So I want to say for the first year, it was really hard. It was really hard facing my family, facing, my partner at the time. Everybody thought I was weird, that I had completely changed. No one really knew how, to understand me. Everybody over here just thinks I'm like some sort of hippie that, goes on these random adventures and is lost in the world. Maybe perhaps up to that point I was lost, and now I feel that I finally found my way and I finally found my purpose. My intentions for going there were to heal this trauma and to also find my purpose in life. It didn't come like right away. It didn't come, as soon as I expected it to. It definitely has taken a lot of time for me to get to this point. So there definitely has been a lot of evolution, spiritual evolution. I went definitely through a really incredible spiritual awakening. I feel like I definitely feel connected to everything. I suddenly developed this love for everything in this world, everyone and everything. I see people with more compassion now. My creativity has definitely opened up, like, dramatically. I was always a creative soul, but now it's like whatever blockages I had were definitely removed. So I feel like right now I'm able to express myself on my creative level in a way that I never have before. Also, my love for my children. I mean, I love my children, obviously, but my love for my children has grown in such a deeper, pure, conditional way. I can't even really explain it with words, but I feel so connected to them. I feel so much, such a pure, heartfelt, deep love for them. I don't know how else to put it. Probably sounding redundant, but it's just, it just makes me want to tear up, because that's another thing. I mean, if I was an empath before all this, I have definitely become very soft and very emotional about everything. I have never been able to stand violence of any sort, not even in movies or anything like that. But now I cannot fathom, like, I can't look at a Facebook feed and see people like posting things of where they, people are hurting each other or war or anything like that, because it really triggers something in me, and it hurts deeply. It hurts almost as if I'm going through this myself. I finally accepted the fact that I am an empath. And for those of you that don't know, basically an empath is a label for someone that feels every emotion deeply and can absorb the emotions of people around them. I never knew what that was, because ever since I was a child, I knew that I could absorb people's energy. I automatically knew if someone felt positive or negative about me just by being next to them. I feel like it affected me. It affected me because I knew what people's intentions were before they would even speak to me or address me, you know. So that for me has been a double-edged sword. Like, I can read people really quickly and people's intentions very easily. So it's hard because I already can sense when someone doesn't have good intentions, you know, and I want to believe in the innate good in everyone. So it's hard for me to separate those two. So I'm an empath, and I finally accepted that. And you know, I am a deep feeling person, and after ayahuasca, I feel like my feelings have just been cracked open. Like, my heart chakra just exploded with love, and it's so open, ready to receive love and give love on that level. That's why I had to let go of that relationship, because I feel like it was really toxic and it wasn't healthy, and I needed something pure, and I almost felt like my energy was being drained constantly. What else happened after ayahuasca? So I went through a period of uneasiness, definitely a lot of unlearning. Whatever I had known to be fact up till that point in my life, I realized wasn't. And all of a sudden I had to relearn the whole world and had to pick up the pieces and just figure it out for myself. And it was really freaking difficult. I felt very lonely, very isolated. I remember going through, when I came back, all of a sudden I started to experience symptoms of anxiety, where I would freak out, and I wasn't sure why that was happening. But now looking back, I think maybe it was just purging, like energetic purging, perhaps, because I had never experienced anxiety like that, or anxiety attacks, until that point in my life. So of course I got freaked out, because I'm like, well, I went to Peru to fix, you know, one thing, and now I'm dealing with another one. So I felt very frustrated, and I felt let down, and I almost questioned myself, like, why did I do this? So looking back, I believe it was energetic purging. And I feel like I think at that point I was experiencing like my Kundalini awakening. Is that how you say it? Rising. I can't think of the word right now, but I think that is what I was experiencing. I know I'm speaking a lot of terms now, but if you don't know, just look it up, like whatever words, because this video could be so long, and I really just want to focus on just speaking about my experience after ayahuasca. I was definitely not a spiritual person before this. I didn't know much about chakras or meditation or anything. So I definitely felt like a fish out of water, because when we were in the jungle, they would do yoga, they would meditate. I have never been drawn to yoga. You know, now I do like some light stretching and everything, and I realize yoga is really your own practice, you know. For me, my meditation, I did start meditating more after that. I was trying to connect with myself and do like a lot of meditating and everything, but I realized for me, meditation is motion. Personally, that's me. So I dance, and I find that is a way that I connect more to my soul. I actually read something the other day that said that dance is how your body connects to your soul. Dance is how your body expresses what your soul is feeling, something to that effect. And I was like, oh wow, I can totally relate to that, because when I dance, I feel so connected to my soul. I feel connected to my heart. I feel high when I'm dancing. I don't know if any of you can relate, but I love to dance, and I could dance to anything, anywhere, anytime. That's how much I love to dance. So I realized that to me, meditation is dancing, is movement. And so anywho, I was not a spiritual person. I didn't know anything about all of this new age stuff. I didn't know much about all of this. So I came back, and of course I started reading, started to try to figure out things on my own. I started to read more self-help books. I started to delve into Kundalini and meditation and all this stuff, trying to figure out where I fit in now, because I felt so lost in my own skin. I didn't fit in, none of my friends. I didn't feel like that we related in any way anymore. Not my family. I'm telling you, I went through very lonely times. So when I started to experience the anxiety, it was a very humbling moment, because up to that point, I always thought anxiety and anxiety attacks were something mental, and that, people brought it upon themselves in a way. I'm telling you, it was a very humbling experience, and I'm glad I went through it, because now I can be more compassionate when people are going through such a thing, but it's very real, and you definitely feel like your world is ending whenever you get one of these types of anxiety attacks. And so one of my ayahuasca family members, he told me I should try Reiki. I had never heard of Reiki, but Reiki is another form of energetic healing. And I was very skeptical, just like I am with everything. I'm very skeptical. And so I was also at a point where I was like, okay, I went to Peru, I came back, there's no one around, I need to figure out something. So he found someone in my area for me. He was so sweet. And so I went there, and I can tell you, within the first session, I felt a drastic change in how I felt. I was so shocked, because I was skeptical, and I was like, how is someone going to put their hands on me and all of a sudden I'm going to feel better? Well, let me tell you, it works. Whatever she did, it absolutely worked. So then I went for a second session, and yes, that was all I needed. After that, I started to feel better in my own skin. I started to feel more clarity. Those anxiety attacks subsided, and to the point where now I don't get any panic attacks. And so it really works. Any of you that, suffer from different ailments, look it up. It's called Reiki, Reiki, R-E-I-K-I. Yeah. Definitely works. But you have to be receptive, and that's one thing. I remember going into the office and setting an intention of being receptive and open to receive whatever, I needed to receive from those sessions. So I believe with anything, you have to be like that. You have to be receptive, because you can close yourself off, and you're not gonna I feel like even with my, the ayahuasca or any plant medicine, or, that if you're closed off to it, the medicine can't really do its work. So you really have to be humble and open. And what else can I tell you guys? I think those are the things. I can talk about the subject forever, but I can honestly tell you that it cured my depression. I know a lot of people don't try to throw around words about, plant medicine and things like that, oh, it cured, but it cured my depression. I do not feel depressed. Yet if I cry, it's because I'm human. If I feel, it's because I'm human. I go through things. Life is not going to all of a sudden be perfect and be all rainbows and unicorns after you come back, because life is life, This is a materialistic world that we live in, and things are happening, and things are shifting constantly, and things are happening all over the world. But I also see this collective awakening, and I see that positive things are happening, even though we only see the negative things. on the media and whatnot, positive things are happening. And I feel it in my heart. And I feel like all of this, even me going there, was part of this collective awakening. Because since we are one, whatever I do is going to affect the collective. So this is not only that I did something that I did for myself, this is something I did for all of us. And that to me is magnificent, you know? So I'm really happy that I did this, you know? I'm grateful to Mother Ayahuasca for all of the many gifts that she gave me in those 4 sessions. I walk in my own power now, thanks to this medicine. I see my self-worth. I finally can say that I love myself. I love myself like I have never loved myself before, you know? And that is something that Mother Ayahuasca did, because I hated myself so much. I hated my very existence. I hated everything about me. I didn't see any value to me even having been born. So now, for me to tell you that I love myself, that is something great. That is something wonderful, because so many times I thought of how I can simply just vanish and not exist anymore. So the fact that it could cure my depression, I felt like it lifted the veil of darkness within the first ceremony. Okay? First ceremony. For me to have gone 25 years or so living like with pain and darkness constantly, can you imagine like what shifted in me? Like, there has to be, I mean, you have to see that there has to be some sort of value and truth to this sacred plant. So I will forever be grateful, you know, to all of the synchronicities and all of the signs and people that led me there. I can't say enough good things about it. And even though I went through a period of time, and I'm still learning, the thing is that the ceremony ends up being your life. And as you walk through life, you start to see like parts of your ceremony starts to make sense. All of a sudden you get an epiphany. I'm still getting epiphanies 2 years later, and I'm sure I'll get them for the rest of my life. You know, things after the ceremony might not be clear, and you're still trying to figure out, you know, what Mother Ayahuasca is trying to tell you, and it's sort of like your job to do your part. You're not going to be spoon-fed anything, you know. So that has been, you know, my journey, and it has been incredible. I definitely find magic in everyday life. You know, I feel a sense of gratitude every single day for the most minimal thing. I can see the beauty that exists in this world, and I feel happy to exist now, you know. And it overwhelms me, because at some point I was so dark in the void that I couldn't see any light at all. So I will link the retreat where I stayed. I know there are a lot of different retreats. Like I've said before, this doesn't mean that this is something for everyone. I don't condone that. Like, I just feel that everyone needs to kind of feel called to whatever you feel called to. I will link the retreat where I was at. If you ever decide to go to anywhere to do anything, you know, always do your research, make sure that it's safe, make sure that you're going to be well cared for. I can tell you, hands down, I am grateful to all of the facilitators that were at, it's called Nimiakaya, and it's a Shipibo, it's a Shipibo word, I believe, and I don't remember what it means, I'm sorry. But all of the facilitators that were there, the retreat was wonderful. The food was amazing, everything. by far the best investment I have ever made in myself and my life. You know, I don't regret it whatsoever, even though there was a point where I felt very lost. Everything became clear. Everything became clear. 2 years later, I feel wonderful. I feel wonderful even in the chaos, even in the storms. Even when I find myself breaking down, I can still see the light. And that is incredible. So I will link all of that information below, any of you who are interested. And if any of you find yourself in this void, let me tell you, there is light. And there are ways to cure this. You don't have to live like that. Okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave me comments and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, fly free butterflies. Bye!